So Pickleball Apes just released their first full foam paddle, and it carries over some of the core design ideas from their previous launch, the Harmony. In my opinion, the Charm is basically a refined, upgraded version of the Harmony, both in terms of feel and firepower. And these are only my first impressions since I've only had the paddles for a short time and only logged a handful of hours. But I do have a full set of performance data from all the tests I've run, and I'll walk you through everything. Let's get into it. So a quick disclosure, Pickleball Apes sent me these paddles for free with no strings attached. No money changed hands, they had no involvement with the making of this video, and they didn't get to preview it before it was published, but if you use my affiliate code, you'll get a discount and I get a commission, which helps this channel. Dries feel really good because of this dense feel. Crunch. Yeah, when you wind up and really hit it, there's a really satisfying feel. Nice sound too. And yeah, really good spin. I think it's the dwell time is enhancing the spin because the surface texture is normal for a peel ply. It's not super aggressive, not too slick. And on the wide body, I have 3 gram pods at 9 and 3 o'clock, bringing the swing weight up to 117, twist weight 8.1. That's a generous sweet spot. Yep. High ball. Oh. This is a little easier to reset with than the hybrid. Just that massive twist weight. A lot of forgiveness there. That was good. All right. For resets, for sure, because it's just so wide, you just feel like you can't miss, you know? Yeah. Skinny singles with the elongated. No weight on this thing, so it's a 123.5, swing weight 6.4, twist weight. Pretty ideal for an elongated, doesn't need anything. Oh, you had it. That stupid ball thing was in the way. Okay, so here's the skinny on the radar gun results. All 3 of these paddles hit harder than Ape's previous launch, the Harmony. And on average, serves with each shape came in right around 60 miles an hour, and punch volleys landed at 38 miles per hour. That puts these paddles in roughly the 70s percentiles for power and the 80s for pop. And spin is solid across the board, so right around 2200 RPM for all 3 shapes. When it comes to weighting, all 3 models sit on the higher end for static weight, swing weight, and twist weight in their respective categories. So in the hand, the wide body V shape feels the easiest to swing, while the elongated X shape definitely carries more heft. So none of them are too heavy to handle, but the swing weight on the X is pushing the upper limit of what most players are comfortable with. On the flip side, the twist weight is excellent for all 3 shapes. That means the paddle stays more stable during off-center hits and twists less in your hand. So I also tested the coefficient of restitution for each paddle in the Charm series using my ball cannon to calculate KEWCOR. That's the metric I use to measure how efficiently the paddle transfers energy to the ball, which helps us understand how much firepower you're getting. So I shot each paddle along the face along this vertical longitudinal axis of the paddle, and here's what the KEWCOR curves look like. The peak performance spot for the V and X shapes was 4 inches down from the top, and for the S shape, it was 5 inches. Maximum KEWCOR scores came in at 0.395 for the V, 0.393 for the S, and 0.404 for the X. And as you can see on this chart, that puts all 3 paddles at the low end of the high power category, which lines up pretty closely with how they felt on the court. So here's how I'm calculating my 3 main meta scores for each paddle. Firepower is measured with my KEWCOR cannon test and the radar gun readings. Spin is tracked with a Doppler radar on the Stalker 3S radar gun. And control is the score I developed that blends twist weight, pop, stiffness, and paddle construction. So you can see for firepower, they're all very similar, but the elongated X edges out the other shapes. Spin is high across the board, and control is good, all around 80. So yeah, my initial impressions of the Apes Charm series is positive. I really like the technology used here. The central core is a solid foam, some version of EPP, that's fully molded instead of CNC cut, and it has horizontal incisions designed to increase dwell time. So I was a little worried that these incisions might make the paddle too flexible, which can hurt performance and make a paddle feel sort of more polarizing to different people. But because the charms are thermoformed with this stiff carbon fiber seam all along the edges, those incisions in the core are mostly just to add dwell without making the face feel too flexy. I did notice a bit of flex along the beam, but nothing odd or distracting. And as I mentioned on court, the paddle has a plush, dense feel, which is the opposite of most of the full foam floating cores out there right now, like the Selkirk Boomstik and the Ronbus Quanta. So I think the Charm feels a unique niche for players who prefer that denser, more grounded feel. I also like where the firepower lands. It is a power paddle, but it sits on the lower end of that category, so it is easier to control. And the sweet spot is solid, but not best in class for the full foam category, which is one of the things that might hold it back from the massive hype that the other full foam models have seen, like the Boomstik, J2NF, or the Loco. But overall, I think the Charm will be well received, especially by players who want a denser, plusher power paddle with better control. You can take 10% off the Charm, bringing it down to $180 using the code Johnkew at checkout. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.